The Gemara in Kedushin, Tractate Kedushin, tells us interesting halacha that we learn out from a verse in this week's portion. The Gemara, based on the words, and God will forgive her, says that the Torah is referring to a specific case when it says that God will forgive this woman. What woman? What'd she do? What's the case? The case is that a woman made a vow that she would become a Nazir. For those that didn't know, you're learning something tonight. A Nazir is not just a man. A woman can become a Nazir too, a Nazira. Okay? So, the woman makes a vow that she's not going to drink wine. She's not going to become ritually impure by being in contact with corpses, and all the laws of a Nazir. So she makes this vow. Now, it turns out, I'll tell you a little secret, it wasn't really a problem for her to drink the wine or for her to become Tameh, because the husband annulled the vow. So therefore, the things that she said she wasn't going to do, she actually was able to do. But she didn't know that. So as far as she knows, interesting case in the Gemara, as far as she knows, she is doing something wrong. Okay? Says the Gemara that the Torah is telling us that in that case, God will forgive her. Hashem Yislach La. God will forgive her for just the machshava, for just the bad thoughts. That is the Gemara. Rabbi Akiva, when he saw this pasuk, I guess, and the Talmudic interpretation of this case that I mentioned, that the Torah requires you to ask for forgiveness, and thank God it is granted for a avera that you don't really do, because technically it's not an avera, because she wasn't a Nazira. The vow was annulled. So Rabbi Akiva says, I'll bring you another case. A man is trying to eat non-kosher, and in the end, a miracle happened, and he was saved, and it was actually kosher meat. So, would he have to ask for forgiveness? Yes, just like the woman thought she was doing a sin. It turns out it was not a sin, because there was a technicality in the case. And so thank God, God forgives her. So says Rabbi Akiva, so in this case too, God would forgive the man if he, does tshuva. He asks for forgiveness for this case where he thought he was sinning when in actuality he wasn't sinning. Says Rabbi Akiva, so for sure if a person tries to do an avera and he actually performs the avera, then he has to ask for forgiveness. Now this is obvious that amazing that a deliberate sin needs kapara, needs atonement, even more than and for sure more than a person that sinned by accident. So what was Rabbi Akiva telling us, this novel idea that he cried when he saw this verse in this Gemara? It would seem to be elementary that a sin that is performed deliberately needs more kapara, needs more atonement than a sin that is performed by accident. But maybe Rabbi Akiva was teaching us this idea. What he saw in this case was the severity of the sin that is performed, not the actual performance of the avera, but the bad machshavos, the bad intentions that a person has when they perform. So when Rabbi Akiva saw the extent that the woman has to ask for forgiveness by doing a sin which she didn't even do really technically, because it was annulled, so Rabbi Akiva said, Kal v'chomer, for sure, we have to ask for forgiveness for the bad machshavos, for the bad thoughts that actually did bring to a sin. So Rabbi Akiva was inspired by this law, that he saw the importance the Torah gave to bad machshavos. So he was inspired to do tshuva, to teach us that we have to do tshuva not just on the sin, but on the bad machshavos and the bad thoughts that cause it. And therefore, when you do tshuva for a sin, a deliberate sin, let's say, you have to realize the severity of what caused the sin to happen, and that was the bad machshava, was the bad desires, the bad thoughts. So we have to work on getting these bad thoughts totally demolished and totally out of existence. Shabbat shalom.